Hello and welcome to another episode of Community Storytelling here at KCAT TV 15. I'm Lissa Kreisler, and sitting next to me is Mike Frangadakis, or Mike the Greek.
That's what they call me.
Mike the Greek, who gets a name like that? What's that about?
Well, when you have a name like Frangadakis that a lot of people can't pronounce or spell,
and we were just practicing.
yeah, they will definitely shorten your name.
Mike the Greek, and you look Greek.
I am a Greek, actually a full-blooded from the island of Crete.
Whoa.
Yes, although I was born in San Francisco.
Oh, we'll leave that part out. We'll leave that part out. Sounds better to just
I'm a
say
native Northern Californian. Let's put it that way.
Okay, Mike the Greek.
Yes.
Mike Frangadakis. Did I
That's
say
me.
it right? See, I got it down.
That's
I got
good.
it down.
You're doing
So you are well known in Los Gatos for many reasons, but I think the most recent reason is you have a dream. And you have a wonderful dream for the town of Los Gatos. It's been a dream that's been going on for a long time.
It has.
Share your dream.
So this is about 5.5 years ago. Actually, the dream was going on a lot longer than that. I've been in Los Gatos since 1977.
Wow.
And I am a veteran, and I'm still actively serving in the State Military Reserves with the National Guard.
Thank you.
And I'm also a commissioner for Santa Clara County for Veterans Affairs, very active in the VA hospital and those kinds of things. And I noticed something about living in this town. And all three of my kids graduated from all the Los Gatos schools. I noticed that this town is the only major municipality in all of Santa Clara County that does not have any tribute to its veterans. And I just think that was...
How sad is that?
I think it was wrong. I just think it was an oversight by the town. This town has a wonderful history for its veterans. A lot of the Civil War veterans migrated after the Civil War to Los Gatos for the lumber industry. And so we had a full...
And look at you.
Well, and look at me. I migrated here because I'm a real estate broker. For similar reasons. It's an economic thing, but I, for the life of me, cannot figure out how in all of these years we did not have that. I did some research, and I did find out that there was a tribute to the veterans. It was called the original library, built in the early 1900s. It was the Los Gatos Veterans Memorial Library.
Really?
That was the tribute to its veterans, but that's long gone. And so it kind of got lost in the shuffle somehow.
So you decided we need a veterans memorial of some sort in Los Gatos. There's your dream, but how do you bring it into reality?
So it was a fluke. Like I said, it always had been bothering me. I always, I thought about this. I've talked to other people about it, and they said, yeah. And I had some people in town that agreed with me, but I never really pulled the trigger. I never made any attempt to do anything about it until our Los Gatos Afternoon Rotary, that's been here since 1924, was honored by the town council. And we went to a town council meeting, and they presented our president with a plaque for all of our service in town as Rotarians. And the mayor, who was a Rotarian at the time, Steve Rice, asked our group of about 20, is there anybody that would like to say anything to the town?
And
well, whammo, boom.
Mike the Greek.
It popped in my head, and I just got up and I just said something like, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like, I've lived in this town since 1977. I am a veteran, and I've noticed that the town of Los Gatos is one of the few municipalities in our county that does not have a tribute to its veterans, and I just think that's wrong. And that's all I said. That was the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
I sat down and I looked up and I said, I felt good about saying it to the town. I just felt like blurting it out. And all of a sudden I looked up and I saw the town council kind of looking and talking to each other a little bit. And I'm going, okay, well, I don't know what that means.
I struck a nerve.
I did strike a nerve. Maybe something that they had been thinking about or whatever. It's like, uh-oh, yeah, well, you're right. We don't have one. Nobody brought that up before. So the next day I get a call from Steve Rice, and he says, Mike, we were talking last night about what you said, he said to me, and I said, what was that? And he reminded me, and he said, would you take on a responsibility of providing the town with a Veterans Memorial. And of course, I had to say yes. And he said, we'll give you whatever you request. They put an ad in the paper for me, in the Los Gatos Weekly.
To get a committee or to get
a committee and to get an idea and say, we're forming this. The town did that. And sure enough, I had a call from Ellen Manzo, who is now really the backbone of our organization. And she said to me, we were reading the weekly and we saw that you are forming a committee to provide a Veterans Memorial in the town. And I represent a former Secretary of the Army who lives in Los Gatos, and he would like to get involved. Well, I thought it was a joke at first. I thought it was my cousin playing a trick on me. I said, the former Secretary of the Army is calling me about putting the Veterans Memorial. And it was legitimate.
Wow.
It was Francis J. Harvey, former Secretary of the Army. I believe he was a former Secretary for about 7, 8 years. And he lives in Los Gatos.
How about that?
And I was excited.
Yeah.
And then the rest is history. People just kind of came on. People like Kent Hillhouse, he's a 2-star general, retired from Army Reserve general. And I'm not going to mention all the names. You will see those coming up in the weekly.
Because I have to go home at some
Yeah,
point
I
today.
understand. We'll be here all day if I tell you all the people involved. But the reaction was from the town was immediate and positive.
So you came up with the design, the Flame of Liberty.
Yes.
And with the Soldier's Cross inside.
Correct.
And you have a location. It's going to be at the town hall, right?
Well, it's going
on East Main.
It'll be in what they call the Redwood Grove. And the Redwood Grove is in front of the History Museum.
Right.
The old library, I think most Los Gatons know the original library there. It's now the History Museum because they have the new library. So we're in that Redwood Grove where the grass is, where they have music in the park.
Wonderful.
And we're excited. We think the location is wonderful. It's got wonderful visibility. We're going to have, we think, a world-class memorial, a destination where people will come to Los Gatos to see our memorial. It'll be a great tourist trap.
Well, great tourist trap. Like Los Gatos isn't already.
Oh,
this
that's right.
Tourist
That's right.
Where everybody wants to come.
I just hope we can get some more parking downtown, but that's another issue.
So this was approved. The design was approved, I think, in 2012.
Yes.
It hasn't been built yet.
That's true.
So how much money is this going to cost?
Well, we are anticipating raising approximately $1.5 million, but that is not specifically to erect the memorial. This is a memorial and support foundation. So what we're planning to do is build a memorial and then support veterans and Veterans Affairs in perpetuity.
Okay. The memorial itself is going to cost?
We think that will cost somewhere between $800,000 to $1.1 million, depending on, we haven't got all the bidding yet.
Will it be made locally, or it's going to be made some other part of the United States?
Well, we're going to try to keep it as local as we can. We do have some of the vendors that have offered to, put the materials in gratis. So we're still forming that whole plan. What is it going to cost?
So fundraising.
Fundraising
Can be tough.
I don't think we're going to have a tough time.
So you haven't really started asking yet? Or
No.
No, all right.
No.
And so how will people, they're going to see you and say, oh, we got to give to this. Where will they contact you?
We'll be knocking on doors.
All right.
Talking to
so you're going for them.
Well, we're going for them, and we're going to be publicizing in the local periodicals and local papers. And we're not only going to ask people to contribute to building the memorial, but we're going to ask people to be part of the foundation. Remember, this is to support Veterans Affairs forever. And I get people all the time saying to me as a commissioner, or because they know I'm heavily involved in Veterans Affairs, I'd like to help the veterans out. I'd like to help the military out. Where should I'd like to donate some money. Should I go to Wounded Warriors? Well, I say to them, you don't have to go to Wounded Warriors, or you don't have to go to anybody but your local Veterans Foundation. That would be us. We have a board. Nobody gets paid. let me go back with that. There's an investigation right now with Wounded Warriors because they raise millions and millions and millions of dollars, as you know. They advertise, they have all the big stars on TV. The problem is that the Association of the United States Army, of which I'm a board member here in Silicon Valley, is doing an investigation and asking, why are the board members making so much money? They're making a lot of money. And so there is an investigation about that. They are doing good things, but where's the money going?
Right.
Now, if you were a Los Gatos Veterans Memorial Foundation member, you'd know where the money's going, and it's going to go to local situations here.
And your website it's very easy.
It's honораvet.org.
There you go. There you go. So, well, your shirt, you said Army, you got a Moffett Air Force? Or?
That's confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, what is that?
Okay, so about almost 14 years ago, I heard about an organization called the California State Military Reserve. And most Californians do not know that the state of California has a military, its own military, that's associated with the National Guard. And we are part of the National Guard. We're a component of the Air Guard and the National Guard. So I'm stationed with the 11th, 13th right here at the San Jose Armory and the 129th at Moffett Field. Therefore, my unit is called the CSMR, California State Military Reserve, 129th Support Group, and we're part of that. So you ask, well, what do we do? We're the trainers. We're the augmentees. When they get deployed, we're the guys that run the armory. It's a fascinating situation. I get to wear the United States Army uniform again on duty.
I bet you that's a proud moment.
And for me, it makes me very proud and honored to be able to do that. And we support the citizens of California. I've worked 3 state emergencies, all fires. So they call us out when there's a state emergency. We can never be deployed. That's the Guard's job. If there was civil unrest, we're not going out in the streets to confront anybody. That's the Guard and the Air Guard. When they call the 129th for emergencies on the Pacific Rim, there's an earthquake on Guam. It's our people at the 129th Air Wing, the PJs, that go out and provide that service to save people. Well, we go into there and we provide security for Moffett Field, where, like I say, we're augmentees wherever they may need us. Maybe they have a computer that needs to be manned by somebody. That would be us.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh,
and I also hear you're pretty popular at Fisher Middle School. What is that about?
So the principal at Fisher Middle School, Lissa Kreisler, every year has a celebration the week of Veterans Day. This year it was the Monday before Veterans Day, and it's a very nice event, and I recommend it for all Los Gatos citizens and their guests. What they do is, for about an hour, they provide a celebration, and they have a guest speaker who's usually a local veteran, and he speaks to what it's like to be a veteran, what it's all about, trying to educate the kids as to what is a veteran. Kids in the 7th and 8th grade, they think a veteran is some old guy walking around with a little cap on. Well, what is this guy? What did he do? So they usually tell stories. It's an educational thing, and
so you've been the guest speaker?
No, I have not been a guest speaker, but what I do is I kind of help Lissa wherever she may need help. But I bring veterans that will provide stories, because every 8th grader at Fisher School has to do a report on a veteran, which is due.
So I'm guessing you've been interviewed a few times.
I have been interviewed a few times, and I guess I'm getting famous in that category. This year I did 3.
Yeah.
And I try to refer the kids to other veterans that I know.
What's the best story you've told them?
The best story that I told, I think, is that most veterans have never seen combat, and they look at me in a blank stare, because the American public thinks that if you're a veteran, you've been out there fighting with some enemy and going through all these horrible things that you watch in the movies. And the real truth is that that's not war. That's not the way we fight. Only about 10 to 15% of all the military ever sees combat. The rest of us, and I'm in the category that has not.
My dad had not either.
Correct. But without us, those guys can't function.
Well, you would have never known my dad had not, because the stories he told and the pride he had being in the Army like you never would have thought anything,
Right.
But I did not realize it was really only 10 to 15%.
Right.
That's amazing.
Right, it's amazing. And it can be a harrowing experience. It's a hurry up and wait. A lot of that going on, and then it could be sheer terror in situations. But I mean, you're being kind of torn away from your families. That's really the hardest thing for any veteran, is he's been taken away from his family. He usually goes to some location that he doesn't want to be. So there's a lot of things that go into the story.
My mom and dad had just gotten married in early 20s, young 20s they were, and my dad was based in Newfoundland.
Well, there you go.
And a few years ago, my oldest brother took my dad back to Newfoundland to see where he was all those years. And
Right.
his name was still up on a wall that he had.
Oh, boy.
His name was still there, and he was part of the Army water rowing team.
Oh,
And there was still a picture.
Oh, that's
I mean,
fantastic.
and my dad passed away at the age of 91, so this was a long time ago. But
Sure.
there was my dad's memories right there in Newfoundland on a wall.
Well, sure. He
Isn't that
did. He
neat?
did his duty, and he was proud of it. And we're proud of him, and we're proud of you.
Oh, don't get
And
me,
your mom.
Don't get me going here. I'll start
Well,
crying.
we honor the families, and one of the things that we're going to be
And the
doing.
families should be honored.
Yes, they should. One of the things that we support, and my Los Gatos Rotary afternoon and morning clubs have done, is we support the Fisher House right here in Palo Alto. Now, I don't know if you know what the Fisher House is.
No.
Have
tell
you ever
us.
heard of the Fisher
I
House?
have heard of it.
So the Fisher House is to the VA hospital as the Ronald McDonald House is to Stanford.
Or the JW House is over by Kaiser.
Correct. They provide the housing for the families.
Wow.
So we have some of these families of wounded soldiers come to Palo Alto because we are the brain injury center for the whole world. So if a person is wounded and he has a brain injury or spinal cord injury, once they stabilize him, he's coming to Palo Alto.
Yeah.
His family could be anywhere in the United States. And when you tell somebody from Tennessee that they're going to come to Palo Alto to visit their wounded soldier and spend $350 or $400 a night, they're not going to. That doesn't compute. It doesn't work. But when you tell them they can spend nothing a night and live in a 5-star hotel, that works.
That's wonderful.
And we have one family that's been over there for 3 years.
Oh.
3 years at the Fisher
Oh
House.
my. How many rooms are there?
There's 21 rooms, and there's a second second Fisher House scheduled to be rebuilt, and I believe that one's going to have 32 rooms. Because they always need rooms. They're always 100% full.
I don't think anybody will argue with the fact that we don't do enough for our veterans and their families who suffered as much as they did. And hopefully, you're going to get this Veterans Memorial. What is your year? What year do you think you're going to have us visiting it?
So we hope that we are going to have our opening ceremony on Veterans Day of 2018.
And you better ask me. You better ask me to be there for
Oh,
that.
you'll be invited.
That is
Believe
amazing.
me, you will be invited.
That is amazing. So you're really going to be knocking on doors soon.
Yes, we are.
And hopefully you're going to get huge donations. It's Los Gatos, after all. I can say that. You
Yes,
can say
we are.
that too.
Yes. No, I'm proud to live in Los Gatos. We live in a real
Giving
interesting. It's a giving
and
community.
compassionate town.
I've been with the, like I say, Rotary now since 1977. I joined, and it's a compassionate
It
town. We
is.
have Lions. We have the Kiwanians. We have the two Rotaries. We have the Chamber. We have all these people that help around here. It's
Exactly.
amazing.
And when you need help, you don't have to ask very loud because
No.
it just comes through. I've interviewed people here, and
Sure.
they've told me about the help and support they've gotten from the town of Los Gatos. So I know you're going to have an easy time raising that money. Well,
it's-
maybe not an easy
It's
time,
interesting.
but-
I've been an appraiser now, like I say, almost 41 years. I know every inch of this county.
Yeah.
And when I got married and wanted to raise my family and my children, there was only one place in this county where I wanted to go. It was this town. it was so
Many
obvious.
of
'cause
us
it
feel
was-
the same
It
way.
was so different than
Yes.
everywhere else.
Yes, you just knew. Yeah. So
And
if we
I
could
knew it
all
was so-
afford to come here, we would.
Yeah, well, I could only afford it because I had to sell my little house in Cupertino to get here. But I did it. I made it.
Oh. So, okay, so go over it once again. People want to help, they can go to the website,
Yes.
which is,
Honoravet.org. They can learn.
you have a great website, by the way.
Oh, thank you. And they can learn all about us. And that's Ellen Manzo, by the way, and her.
Well, tell her she did a lovely
support. Well,
job
Ellen
on it.
does. I mean, I can't tell you enough about Ellen. She's fantastic. She's fabulous.
Although
she
I
keeps us all together.
Did take a Kleenex out for the little video. You have a 5-minute video or so.
Yes. Ellen's video.
Yes,
Yes. She did that
all right.
as well.
And expect you to come knocking on doors. And you and I have a date for next Veterans Day.
Roger
right?
that.
I do.
Hope to see you then.
Oh, I'm going to put it on my calendar.
All right.
So Mike the Greek, or Mike Frangadakis,
Good.
there we go. You can find him around town, and he needs you, and you need him. And yes, we need a Veterans Memorial in the town of Los Gatos, and it's on its way.
Thank you.
What a wonderful, wonderful interview, wonderful tribute, and thank you for all the service you continue to give us.
Well, thanks for all the support, and thanks to all the United States and California citizens that we do support. It's an honor.
Yeah, we do have a wonderful place we call home. And thank you for being with us. You got a story? You have a Mike the Greek in your life that you want to share? You go to kcat.org. It's that easy. And thank you so much for being with us today. KCAT TV 15.